My name is Shane Furze. I'm a PhD candidate with Dr. Paul Arp at the University of New Brunswick. And my part of AWARE is looking at or trying to model soil properties continuously across the landscape and use that as a measure of productivity. So forest productivity is dominantly influenced by nutrient and water retention, which are soil properties. So my part of AWARE is mapping soil properties as they vary continuously across the landscape. Traditionally, we map soils based on these broad polygons representing soil associations. This is a form of aggregating information together to save space. But now we want to disaggregate our information and try to create soil property maps as they vary, on a cell basis. So every 10 meters we'll have difference in soil properties. And the idea here is that we can use these soil properties to determine our productivity of our forests. So as I've mentioned, we have these maps of soils that are based on these broad polygons. Some of these polygons in New Brunswick alone are up to 10,000 hectares in size. Now, based on my digital soil mapping techniques, we have updated data sets for topography, surficial geology, climate, in which we can recreate elsewhere across the country. Aside from that, I also have soil properties mapped not only at 10-meter resolution, but also at depth intervals of 0 to 15 centimeters, 30 centimeters, 60, and 90, and based on a rooting medium as well. With this, we can actually now get at stand level forest management and actually see how our soil properties vary on a cell-by-cell basis within existing stands. So we can now even compare single trees to variations in soil properties which have not been available ever in most of Canada. There's only a few select sites where this has actually been done before, and it's never been done at this extent. So we used to have, with the existing or the old soil maps, we had multiple stands, if not hundreds of stands within one soil type. Now we have varying soil properties within each stand. So for forestry companies that want to know how productive sites are, we no longer have to look at individual trees within a stand. We can now look at use a geocentric approach and actually just look at maps of these soil properties to determine where the productive sites are going to be. When it comes to planting millions of trees and wanting to maximize our efficiency of growth, we can now do this based on a few computer-generated maps instead of spending, years on the ground in the field measuring trees. As a member of AWARE, I've learned a lot, especially working with many group members. The best part about this is the networking. It's amazing to be able to work with some of the greatest minds and see the diversity in the projects going on. I've learned so much about not only LiDAR, but forest management in general. Being able to work with people from industry, private industry, government agencies, universities across all of Canada has opened many doors for a lot of us, and I think we're all very appreciative of being involved in this project, and I think it's going to open a lot of doors for us down the road as well. With the AWARE project, I've learned a lot, not only about forestry and my own maps or my own research, but also a lot of things about myself. In terms of my research, I've always been told that mapping soils continuously wasn't possible. We always had to go with a polygon-based approach. But through just research and talking to others, I was able to come up with these data sets at a relatively high accuracy that we can apply elsewhere. It's a framework that can be used anywhere. It's not limited to just one geographic extent. Regarding myself, I've always pushed myself as hard as I can, especially in terms of my research. And I find the most interesting thing from this research is I've learned a lot about myself in terms of creativity and kind of pushing boundaries, thinking outside the box. And without the past 5 years, 5 years ago, I would have never done something like this. So regarding myself, I've learned, I've become a completely different person. I'm happy I've done it. I'm proud of my research. I'm proud to be a part of AWARE. In terms of my research, we've come up with data sets that are, can be used anywhere, and I'm excited to see where this research goes. It's not done yet.